من که فرزنده سرزمینم، در پی توشه خوشه چینم. شادم از پیشه خوشه چینی، اشک شادی بخوان از جبینم. قلب ما بود مملو از شادی بی پایان، سعی ما بود بر تلاطمی این سامان. خوشه چین کجاست که مهنت به دامن ریزد، خوشه چین کجاست که مهنت زند بر دامان. سلام، من معلم فارسی شما علیرضا هستم. همونطور که میبینید کد تنم نیست. Hello, I'm your Persian teacher Alireza, and unlike the thumbnail, I don't have a coat on because the actual or the first try of this recording had a voice problem like the recording before it for the last video. But instead of putting up the tie and the coat, I was like, nah, let's just put up a shirt. So yeah, this is what you're getting now. I'm not wearing a coat anymore. Summer, it's hot, dude. I'm not gonna wear a coat anymore. And people said it looks dumb. So yeah, I'm just gonna wear it for the thumbnail so it all looks the same. No one gonna like, oh, what happened after episode 6. But for the video, yeah, this is what you are all getting. So now I'm gonna also wear this stupid glove that it makes it easier to write. So let's review what you have learned so far. You have learned about verb conjugation only in the present form. I haven't taught you the past form yet. So we have آمدم, آمدی, آمد, آمدیم, آمدید, آمدند. And I also said that the more casual way of saying it is آمدم, آمدی, آمد, آمدیم, آمدید و آمدم. But I didn't mention that آمدید, or the second person of the plural form of conjugating a verb, has another way of saying in casual speaking in Persian. So you wouldn't say آمدید, you would drop the D, but if you drop the D, you would say آمدی. So it isn't just E. You would also add a ne, and it becomes آمدین, آمدین. Okay, so now it becomes آمدیم, آمدین, آمدند, آمدیم, آمدین, آمدند. And also for آمد, we don't say آمد, we say اومد. So it becomes اومدم, اومدی, اومد, اومدیم, اومدین, اومدن. Okay, so اومدم, اومدی, اومد, اومدیم, اومدین, اومدن. I get this wrong. So آمدم is the written form, اومدیم is the casual form. آمدی is the written form, اومدی is the casual form. آمد, اومد. آمدیم, اومدیم. آمدید, اومدین. آمدند, اومدن. Okay, so that was a quick review on the verb conjugation and also a quick note. Also, you have learned about re and nun. Re and nun. And something that I have been saying it wrong this whole time was re is the English equivalent of R, even though I should say it is the Persian equivalent of R. So sorry for my mistake. As a teacher, I shouldn't make such obvious mistakes. So re is the Persian equivalent of R, and nun or ne is the Persian equivalent of N, alongside all the other vowels and syllables that you have learned so far. Now, we get to lesson 6, and this lesson is going to teach us about the new syllable and a vowel, E or Yi. Ye, A. It can also sound A, it can sound like Ye, it can sound like Yi. The name of this lesson is Iran. Iran. As you can guess, Iran is the country that I live in and the country that people speak Persian in. I guess that's obvious. Duh. And we write it down as Iran. And as you can see here, we have the map of Iran that looks like a little cat. That is what it is famous for. A little cat. We call it that at least. It's his head, it's its tail, and it might be its legs. And you can see all the different people in here that are from different cultures. You would see Arabs, Turks, Baluch, Lor, and all different cultures and races that live in Iran and are Iranians. And also Aryaya or Farsha, which would kind of be me. Even though sometimes people mistake me to be an Arab or from Junub, especially since the time I went there for my college and I became so dark that people thought I was from South. And yes, in Iran we have black guys, we have white guys, we have people with golden hair, we have people with blue eyes, we have people with black, we have every kind of people with different looks of different colors in just this little map, from absolute whites that look like Russians and from black people that look like Africans to people of brown colors from India and all that. And we are all Iranians, okay? There is so little to no racism. Not to say there isn't any, but mostly we think of ourselves as Iranians, even though there's always racism. And racism comes from the fact that we think we're better than the other race. And other races think that way. And that's the problem that have been with humans ever since we existed. Anyways, not gonna get philosophical here. Let's get back to a language. So we have Iran. 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 We have Amin. And we have Abi. You know these three words by now. And Iran may be new as just the name of the country, so not that hard. If you can read the syllables, you know what it means. This guy is gonna be the last thing I'm gonna explain because there is much more to it. So we're just gonna talk about these two colors and the sentences here. Now, you start with this one. As you can see, this is white. Call it Sefid. 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 You haven't learned Fe yet? It's kind of the Persian equivalent to F. Sefid. And see how Ye here is working like a vowels because Fe is sounding like Fi. Fi. So Sefid is working like a vowel. Sefid. Now, this color is navy blue. We call it Sormei. Sormei. Sorme is another word, but E is a part of Sormei, okay? If you want to say the color, it is Sormei. Now, I'm known to splitting the words into different parts, but Sorme is hard to explain. So just remember that's Sormei, okay? Don't say Sorme alone. It means something else. Add the E so it becomes the color, Sormei. But you don't really have to learn it because it's one of the hardest words you can learn for colors. So it's a bad color to start off with. But since E was used in it, it came to show you. And I wasn't really sure how it was written myself either, because I've never really seen it written down. We might just call it dark blue ourselves, like Abi, but a bit darker. So yeah, if you even say that, you're kind of fine. Since you're a beginner, don't go too hard on yourself. If you think this is too hard to learn, just don't learn it. Now here we have more useless words for you to learn. Abad, Abad. Iran, Abad. Bidar, Bidar. Irani, Bidar. Abad means a place that is populous and cultivated. That is all. You don't really need to learn it. I'm not really going to explain what it really means because it doesn't really have an equivalent in English. It will sound really weird. Bidar, on the other hand, means awake. Bidar. Bidar itself is awake. Iraniya Bidar. An awake Iranian. Irani, when we add the ya at the end, it becomes an Iranian. So we would say Iraniya Bidar. Iraniya Bidar. An awake Iranian. So Iran is a cultivated place with awake people. That is what it's trying to say. Now, we get to Irani. As I have said just right now, Irani, when you just add a ye to Iran, it becomes somebody who's from that place. Now I'm just going to explain why does this happen and how you can use it yourself. So, okay, someone asks you, hello, who are you? Where have you came from? Where is your origin? And all that questions. And you want to, answer in Persian. So you would say, man from this country هستم, or am. From this country am. For example, I would say من ایرانیم یا من ایرانی هستم. So I would just bring the word Iran, add a ye to it, and it becomes Irani. Now let's do this with some other countries and see how they turn out. So for example, if we want to say America, we would just say Amerika plus ye or e, it becomes Amerikai. So here we added a double ye, because if we just added one, it would sound like Amerikai. It would sound weird. So we had to add two, because America didn't have any vowels, so ye could attach into it. We had to add two, so it would sound like ye. So we would say Amerikai. If you're from America, you would say Man Amerikaiyam. Man Amerikai هستم. هستم sounds really robotic, like you have learned from ChatGPT on how you've learned to speak Persian. But since you're learning from an actual Persian person, I'm gonna tell you, never say هستم. Just say am. So you'd say Man Amerikaiyam. Amerikaiyam. You put an a on the end of the syllable here and say Amerikaiyam. So it turns out to be something like this. Amerikai am. Amerikai am. Amerikaiyam. Man Amerikaiyam. Man Iranian. But it's easier to just write it down as am here. But you would pronounce it like this, like they are connected, not separate. Because if you wanted to say it like they're separate, you would say Amerikai am. That sounds weird. You have to connect it. You have to say Amerikaiyam. Okay? Now, what if you were from another country? For example, I'm going to use India for this one. Or we call India Hind. So, like the other ones, we just add a ye and comes Hindi. And if you want to say you are from India, you would say Man Hindiam. Man Hindiam. See? It's really easy. All you have to do is to add a ye at the end of a place, any place for that matter, and you're talking about the things that came from that place that can also be you. Okay, so you want to say Amerikaiyam. It means you are from America. But you can also say things that came from America, like cars. Machine Amerikai. Machine Amerikai. An American car. Or غذای Hindi, an Indian food. Or anything from any place. You just add a ye to that place, and you can just add the ye to that place, and you can put a noun, and you can put anything that came from that country before the place and ye, and it would become this thing that is from this place, and that could be you, which you would say من آمریکاییم, خواهرم آمریکاییه, my sister is American, and all that. And that is why ye is so important. Okay? So I hope you have learned this. Now let's get to our next lesson. This lesson's syllable is z. Z is the Persian equivalent to zit. Z, zit. Okay? It's also like re, but it has a dot over it, so it becomes zit. Think of him as a cousin of re, or a brother. Now, this lesson name is Sarbaz. Sarbaz. Sarbaz means soldier. Soldier. People really criticized me on opening up words because they say it overcomplicates things and new learners aren't going to learn anything. But my target audience, at least as far as I think, they are not new to language learning. They are somebody who are at least bilingual. they at least understand two languages before coming and learning Persian. Why? Because Persian, yes, it's a beautiful language and it has a deep history, but it doesn't really make much money and doesn't really open up many opportunities, at least not at this time in this world. So not many people are gonna just learn a language to learn about the history and the philosophy behind it, unless they are somebody who are interested in learning things. And if you are interested in learning things, you are a nerd and you are a geek. So you're smart. You understand anything that I say. Even if it's the first language that you're learning, you're still very smart. So I'm not going to treat you like you are a beginner or you're a newbie. I'm going to treat you like you know what is going on. And I know these things aren't going to overcomplicate things for me. But if I'm wrong and it does overcomplicate things and you can learn, please tell me. Okay, I'm really open to feedbacks and suggestions. So now, we were talking about Sarbaz. Sarbaz, which was soldier, is made of two words, which is Sar and Baz. Sar means head. Baz means open. It's a verb. So Sar is a noun, which means head. And Baz is a verb that means open. Sarbaz means soldier. So Sarbaz kind of means open mind. So soldiers are open-minded. Sometimes literally. Oh. Okay, that was not funny. Okay, anyways. Let's get to the lesson. So here we have some Sarbaz on duty. It's probably the war, which was the 8th year of war with Iraq, which was a really bloody war. A lot of young people had died for no reason because, wars are just a lose-lose situation for the people. They are all awful. But for some reason, the government really loves to show on it and make movies about it and how glorious they were, which they were, but honestly, wars are just awful. I don't think we should really talk about or glorify them at all, because they're just miserable on both ends. The people who went there were brave. My father was one of them, but it doesn't mean it was anything good. Everyone lost something in that war. So, yeah. Every time somebody talks about war, I remember the quote from Fallout, which is my favorite. It says, war. War never changes. And it never does. Anyways, so we had Sarbaz, or soldier. We have Tirandaz. Tirandaz. Now, Tirandaz is actually made of two words that came together to make this word. So it makes sense. Tir means bullet. Tir means bullet. Andaz means somebody who's throwing things. And somebody who's throwing bullets is a gunman. And as you can see in this picture, this guy is shooting. So the shooter or a gunman, we would call them tir andaz, bullet thrower. Kind of something like that. Tir andaz. Now we have two other colors. Zard و sabz, yellow and green. Zard و sabz, 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 se, be, ze, ze, re, de, zard, sabz. Now let's get to the sentences here. ایران ایران پاینده با سرباز رزمنده. It sounds more like a poem than two sentences, and it's really just BS, to be honest. So here it says ایران ایران پاینده, lasting. پاینده means lasting, everlasting, long-lived, or something like that. Doesn't really matter. با سرباز رزمنده. Now, با, I guess this is the most important thing. با means with. With. So we use it a lot. You say, he came with this or with that. با این, با اون. We use با a lot, so you should definitely learn it. And it means with. With this, with that, doing with this, with با سرباز با این با ایران با اون. We use it a lot and it is important and it's also really easy to use. So با سرباز رزمنده. رزمنده means fighter. It also doesn't matter. You shouldn't really learn these two words. So Iran and ba means with and sarbaz means soldier. Tirandaz is also a word that we don't really even use that much. But since tir and andaz were two different words that are useful, I thought I should teach you. Now here, we're gonna end this part with this beautiful poem. با هم بخوانیم ای ایران. زیبا زیبا زیبایی ای ایران، میهن خوب مایی ای ایران. هم کوه و جنگل داری هم صحرا، هم باغ و بستان داری هم دریا. من یک دنیا خاکت را دارم دوست، خاک خوب و پاکت را دارم دوست. من یک دنیا خاکت را دارم دوست، خاک خوب و پاکت را دارم دوست. اسدالله شعبانی. That was about this poem. I'm not going to translate it because it is one of those poems that shouldn't be translated at all costs because it would sound and mean so much weirder in English. It is for everyone's good if we don't do that. So instead, let's talk about your homework. You have learned so far about 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And today you're going to learn about the number 6. And you're going to do every page that has this number on it. So that will be till page 60. You should write down to page 60. That was the lesson for today. I hope you review everything you have learned every day and practice. Watch Persian media and all that. Till the next video, do your homework. Okay? Bye.